Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the first half of my top 20 NES games. I'm back for the second half. Number 10, Duck Hunt. While this wouldn't make a lot of people's lists, I happen to be really good at Duck Hunt. My highest score on Duck Hunt is like 1.4 million. It's not too sloppy, honestly. I enjoy Duck Hunt. I know a lot of people complain about that dog, and every time I hear someone complaining about that stupid dog, I just laugh because I don't give the dog many opportunities to come up and laugh in my face. I'm not going to call it a gem. I just think it's better than a lot of people, most people, give Duck Hunt credit for. Number 9, California Games. Here's another sports game on my top 20, and I'm sure most of you people are probably scratching your head at this one. In my opinion, this is a hidden gem on the console. You have different events. You have skating, surfing, you have hacky sack, BMX, disc throw, and you have skateboarding. Some of these things are pretty difficult. Some of these events are difficult to do, but once you learn them, which is not hard, especially in the internet age, this becomes a really fun game. I like this game so much because I just happen to be really good at it, especially the hacky sack. What's really California about it except that you can surf, honestly. This game is on my list for no other reason than the sheer fun factor that I have playing this game. I really enjoy this game. On the NES, this is probably one of the best versions I've ever played. It's definitely better than the Atari version and absolutely better than the Master System version, in my opinion. But again, this is my list. California Games, go grab a copy. It's not super expensive. You can probably find one for what, $5-7 maybe, right? At any game store convention, $10 max. In my opinion, worth every dime. Number 8, Trog. This is another one of those games I definitely consider to be a hidden gem. This is kind of a Pac-Man-esque maze game, if you will. You're a dinosaur. You're going around trying to pick up eggs. Well, while you're trying to pick up eggs, you have cavemen that are trying to bash your head in with their clubs. Well, you can actually punch these cavemen. You get the pineapples and you grow big and you just walk up to the caveman and you start chomping the caveman and eating the caveman. This is a game that actually Dodongo and his friend Mike were playing back in the day. I saw them play this in the late 90s or so, and I picked up the controller and fell in love with it, just like I did Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man back in the day, or hell, even Tetris, since it's on this list. This is definitely a hidden gem on the NES, in my opinion. Go pick this game up. I think you can probably find one for about $15. And again, it's one of those games where you can challenge each other for high score. You challenge yourself for high score. This is a true gem on the NES, I gotta say. Number 7, Mega Man 2. In my opinion, of the 6 Mega Man games on the NES, 2 is the absolute best. 2 has amazing music. Not that the rest don't, but this one does. Super fun. The levels are there's some challenge to some of the levels. In my opinion, this is just one of the funner games. The level layouts, the level design are just more fun to run through than some of the other Mega Man games. Now, I know some people like 3 better than 2, but this is the great part about anybody's top anything list. It's what you like. It's what the person making the list is like. And me personally, I just happen to like 2 better than the rest. Now, maybe it's a childhood thing. We had Mega Man 2. Don't really remember Mega Man 1, and we didn't have any other Mega Man after that. Mega Man 2 is still, again, one of these games I do put into this day. I don't put in 1 and 3 through 6 and play those. So, in my top list, games that I still currently play today, they're going to get a little more favoritism than other games. Number 6. Super Mario Brothers. This game is really what started my obsession. I had played games prior to NES, but this game that came out of the box with the NES console is what really started my obsession with video games.
He's right. Well, the right.
It was amazing. There was never anything like this I had played beforehand. I know arcades existed, but in 1986, when you're 7 years old, you can't just go to an arcade and do whatever the hell you want to do. Even in the 80s, it wasn't a thing. A game I still play to this day. I'd still try to speed run this game to this day. I can do this, and my best time is 7 minutes 59 seconds. Not horrible. Do I really need to say anything about Super Mario Brothers? I think anyone who puts Super Mario Brothers on their top NES games. Personally, I don't think there's any explanation needed, even though I gave you some reasons. Number 5, Contra. When I think of Contra, the first thing I think of is Konami code. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, and depending on how you heard it growing up, just start or select, then start. For us, it was always select, then start. It's a fun game. It's actually a short game. I didn't beat this one until I was an adult because I always tried to beat it legit. Well, when I got older, I was like, you know what, screw it. Contra code, give me 30 lives. And that's what the Contra code did for you. It gave you 30 lives. It allowed you to run through and beat this game in one sitting. If you know what you're doing, you can beat this game in about half an hour or so. It's not super, super hard, honestly. Once, like any other game, you get the pattern down. But what's great about this game was the co-op. You're both on screen, you're working together to save the human race from aliens. Anything with aliens, I'm in for it. And it's hot as in here right now. Number 4, Donkey Kong. That's right, I did it, I said it, Donkey Kong. Look, everyone likes Donkey Kong, especially the original Kong, right? I love the Donkey Kong franchise. Donkey Kong Country was good, Donkey Kong 64 was okay. Even this new Tropical Freeze that just was re-released on the Switch, good game. Donkey Kong is a port from the original arcade, and I absolutely love this. Like one of these score-based games, like most things back in the day, where it was challenging. There was so much challenge in it. There was a lot of randomness to the game as well. Nothing was ever truly the same twice. There was, you know, some monsters did certain things the same way, obviously, and the barrels, sometimes you could figure out how he was dropping the barrels. You could even manipulate the barrels at times by being on one side of the ladder and then moving real quick, you know. Little things like that help you with your score and help you climb to the top of the rafters and destroy Donkey Kong. So the NES version is a lot like the arcade version, except they took out the Pie Factory levels. But that's fine. Honestly, the NES version is a little bit easier than the arcade version. I can usually get a little bit higher score on the NES than I can the arcade. It's a challenging game. It never gets old. Again, one of those games, I've said this on most of these games on this list, I still play to this day. I'll still pop it in and I can sit there and play it for an hour, 2, 3 hours and just frustrate the hell out of myself when I can't get higher than I did 5 games prior to that. But Donkey Kong. Number 3, Mike Tyson's Punchout. Yes, another sports game. Yes, it's number 3 on my list, and I'm completely okay with that. Mike Tyson's Punchout, we had as a kid. I played a lot as a kid. I didn't beat Mike Tyson until I was 23 years old, 22, 23 years old. And funny story about that is, I beat Mike Tyson. There was nobody home. I left it on the end screen saying that I beat, you know, Kid Dynamite, whatever. And it was up there for about 4 hours before someone finally got home, and I had a witness to me beating Mike Tyson. Now, I can beat him a little bit more consistently, but it's still a challenge. Mike Tyson is considered one of the hardest boss fights, if you will, in video games, well, especially in that era. It's not a hard game once you get the pattern down, like most other games. But honestly, the best game on that console, I don't think there was a better boxing game in video games until probably Fight Night came out on PlayStation 2 back in the day, which says something. You went that long basically being the king of boxing, and then it took something super realistic like Fight Night to dethrone you. That's longevity, in my opinion. Number 2, The Legend of Zelda. I, like most of you out there, am a huge Legend of Zelda fan. Every time a new Zelda game comes out, I get super, super excited and stoked for it, and it's all because of the original Legend of Zelda. This is one of those games that was definitely difficult. It was extremely hard to do when you're younger without that map in Nintendo Power. Yeah, I used that map. You were transformed into this dark, mysterious, you know, and dank, like I could die any second, what's around the corner. It definitely gave you that feeling when you were a child. Another thing about this game is that the music, that classic music, when you're on the overworld running around and fucking shit up. Nobody forgets that music. But as soon as you go into one of the dungeons, it completely changes and changes the mood and puts you in a different setting, you know, mentally and visually at that. It was another one of those games where you can challenge yourself to do speed runs on it, do no death runs on it, do things like that on it. And I did that one day and I had a lot of fun doing it. I beat it no death in about 2 hours, no glitches either. I know there's a glitch thing you can do to basically jump screens, and that's kind of generic, and that actually counts during speed runs. But it is what it is. Legend of Zelda is one of those games that everybody could enjoy, and everyone did enjoy. My mom played this game. We got a Nintendo actually because of this game, because she'd seen a commercial and wanted to play this game. My mom would wake either me or Melvor up middle of the night on a school night and be like, come beat this boss, I can't do it. So that's the kind of impact this game had on people, where you were saying, F it, I'm gonna wake my kids up on a school night, or I just had a bad mom, one of the two. Number 1, Super Mario Bros. 3. If you've been following this channel any amount of time, you probably already knew that. This is a game I absolutely am in love with. This game set a standard with Super Mario games. There's not many Super Mario Brothers games that are as good or better than Super Mario Brothers 3. I would probably put Mario 64 on the same level. I would put Odyssey on the same level. Outside of that, truthfully, nothing tops Super Mario Bros. 3. This is one of those games, I get asked this question a lot. If you're on a deserted island, you can only play one game for the rest of your life. What would it be? This game is always right there. This game is always mentioned, Super Mario Bros. 3. Still to this day, I'm finding different secrets. You know, I'll time myself with whistles, without whistles, all that good kind of stuff. My best time on this game trying to speed run with whistles, with warps, is about 36 minutes. Without is like 2:45 or so ish. You can definitely beat this game in a very short amount of time, or you can take your time and you can explore. One of the first times I played this game was actually at a sleepover. My Little League team were doing a sleepover at one of the guys' house, and he had the game, and I played it there, and I was completely obsessed with this game from the second I picked up the controller. This is one of those, my mom always asked us, birthdays, Christmas, what do you guys want? And this is how we got video games. So for me, when it came up, hey, your birthday's coming, what do you want? Super Mario Bros. 3, I have to have this game. I have to have Super Mario Bros. 3. It's very rare to recapture that feeling of amazement and astonishment that I had the first time I played it with any other game. There's been very few games that have given me that same feeling of just, wow, everything I'm doing just gets better and better and better, like Super Mario Bros. 3. Absolutely the best game on the console, one of my favorite games all time, my favorite retro game all time, period. Guys, that sums up the second half of my top 20 NES games of all time. There'll be a link down below for my 20 through 11. And actually, Billy did his a few weeks back, so his links will probably be down there as well. Please don't forget to subscribe. Maybe it's over here, I don't know. Patreon, and down below if you want to support us with shirts and Blu-rays and DVDs, all that's available for purchase online. Thank you guys very much. If you guys didn't watch, we couldn't continue to do this, so appreciate y'all.